Hi, this is Fazlullah Sadiq. I make videos on English grammar and share other relative informative videos. But before further proceed, press the bell icon to subscribe my channel.
The sixth communication barrier is emotional responses. Most of the time it occurs that we are, you can say, we are emotionally aroused, or we are, sometimes we are angry, sometimes we are, worried about something. So these different emotional responses can also become a barrier. They can also affect the process of communication, the flow of communication, the flow of information. So in this regard, you should understand this fact, that because of your different emotional responses, your communication cannot be successful. It cannot be effective. Communication cannot succeed if a person is highly emotional about the topic concerned. If you are very much emotional about the topic on which you are going to talk to someone, so remember that your emotional response is also carried with the message, either in written form or in oral form. So be careful whenever you are a bit emotional, whenever you are angry, or whenever, for example, you are tired or stressed. So do not jump into the communication process, because it will it will have a bad impact on the understanding of the message. And problems may arise from insecurity, fear, and anger. It also happens that sometimes we feel insecure. We feel insecure because we think that such and such type of questions, if asked from a person, may put him in trouble, or there is a fear fear of facing other people for exchanging information with them. Sometimes it is our anger too that, you can say, can become part of our message, and that can also work as that can also play the role of a communication barrier. So you should be aware of these emotional responses that can affect the success, the effectiveness of your communication. And if emotions are high on the part of the sender or recipient, then wait for a while before trying to put the message across. If you think that you are highly emotional, you are very much angry on a certain issue, on a certain matter with someone, or, for example, there is a domestic issue due to which you are very much stressed, so do not begin the process of communication. Do not interact with others in terms of exchanging information during that time. Wait till that time when you are relaxed, when you are normal. So only then you can say you are ready to begin the communication process. And the seventh barrier, as you can see, is culture, background, and bias. There are differences in background, and people are from there are people who are from different backgrounds. They have different nationalities, they have different ethnicities, they have different cultural and social backgrounds. And you should remember that our backgrounds, our culture and our ethnicities are not always the same. And so you should be very much sensitive regarding the cultural differences that are there between you and other individuals who are your co-workers in an organization. So differences in background can be one of the hardest communication barriers to overcome. It is one of the hardest, one of the difficult, you can say, communication barriers that can be controlled or that can be overcome. So as far as culture, background, ethnicity, nationality, different social setup, all these things influence the meaning of our message. Because we live in a certain culture, we are surrounded by a certain culture, by society, by different social, ethnic, and national, backgrounds. These are different factors that shape, our understanding of different things in a culture. So there are so many things that are shared. But if you come out from your own culture and you move on to another culture, to another locality, so you will come across people who have different experiences, past experiences, who have got, you can say, different cultural and social backgrounds. So be careful in interacting with such type of people who have different cultures, who have different ethnic and social backgrounds, because the meanings differ in such cases. The non-verbal signals also differ in such cases. Although they will be the same, but their meanings are quite different. The meanings that they have attached is according to their culture. So you should be very, very sensitive about the cultural differences of not only yours but other people too. So do not allow your culture, and it also occurs that because of our own cultural background, because of our own social, ethnic, and racial differences or background, we often allow these backgrounds, these different backgrounds, these differences to interfere in the communication process. We think, for example, for instance, if you are communicating with an Arab, with an individual who is from Arab countries, from Gulf countries, so an Arab might think that he is superior to a non-Arab because of his cultural or racial or social background. This thing should be avoided, because you want to communicate a message, or you can say you as a good communicator should be above all these cultural differences. You should always discuss matters putting aside all your cultural, your racial, your ethnic or social differences. And this is how you can be a successful communicator. And never allow your cultural background and racial differences to interfere in the communication process. You know that we all are different in color, in language, in social and ethnic, and from ethnic perspectives, we are different from one another. But when it comes to effective communication, so there you will have to put aside all these differences that are there among you and other people, and avoid projecting your own background or culture onto others. You should be interacting. You should be sharing information with other people, keeping aside all your cultural background, all your social backgrounds. Do not project your own background and culture. Do not always overemphasize your own culture. Do not always try to show yourself as superior to another person from cultural, from social, from ethnic, or from racial perspective. Okay, so in this regard, clarify your own understanding and others' background, spheres of knowledge, personalities, and perceptions. You should always when you come in contact with people from other cultures in a cross-cultural environment, you should clarify your own background, and you should also try to understand the background of other people, the knowledge of other people, and personalities of other people, and their understanding of different things. And this is how you can avoid being biased in your or prejudiced in your you can say interaction with other people. And the eighth barrier, as you can see, is noise. And noise can also play the role of communication barrier, and it can also distort and disturb the meaning of the message. And the noise usually comes from an equipment, and it can be environmental noise as well. For example, the room in which you are going to hold a meeting is close to the main road, you can say, where you will always be hearing the noise of horn, the noise of traffic. So it can also be the noise of any equipment. For example, a fan that has been you can say become out of order and is making a lot of noise. So always try to remove such type of noises that you can expect that you think will slow the process of communication, or that you will think which will you can say distort the meaning of the message. Make the environment and surrounding noise free for better concentration. You should do these things in advance. Make that room soundproof for all the participants, so that you can easily focus and concentrate on the message that is being delivered orally. And noise is any interference in the communication process that distorts or obscures the sender's meaning, and such communication barriers can exist between people and within organizations. And nowadays, in this modern technological world, we often experience noise, or you can say low signal issue, that distorts or disturbs, obscures makes the message difficult to understand because of low signals, because of the noise coming from the background. So it interferes in the process of communication, and this is how it changes the meaning. It you can say makes the message more difficult or obscure. And the next barrier is ourselves. Focusing on ourselves rather than the other person can lead to confusion and conflict. We often focus on our own selves. We, in simple words, we can say, I would say, in simple words, that there are people who are self-centered, and self-centeredness will not allow you to listen to someone else. Okay, so as an effective communicator, our focus should not be our own selves, but rather the other person who is delivering a message. And if we focus on ourselves, if we think that we ourselves are very much important and not the other person who is delivering a message, so that can lead to confusion and conflict. And there is me generation, as you can see around you, that is always there, who think of themselves every time, who are self-centered, who are egocentric. So such type of such type of people can also become you can say a barrier in the process of communication. So some of the factors that cause this are defensiveness. We feel someone is attacking us. This is also, you can say, focus on your own self when you think that that someone will attack you if you do not answer his or her question. And superiority, this is also something that is there in a self-centered person who thinks that he is superior. His cultural background is superior to other people. We feel we know more than the others. This is because of our perception of superiority, that we think that we are superior to the other person. And ego itself can become, you can say, a hurdle, and this is also there among such people. Ego is there in such people who are self-centered, because they think that they are all the center of all the activities that are going on around them. So you should not be a self-centered individual to think of your own self. Always try to give importance to other people. Be open-minded so that you may receive the message properly. And there are also environmental barriers which also affect the process of communication. For instance, bright lights, an attractive person, unusual sights, or any other stimulus provides a potential distraction. There can be, several other barriers more besides all those that are listed here in this lecture. And as far as environmental barriers are concerned, bright lights can also draw your attention. An attractive person can also draw your attention from the message. And unusual sights, unusual pictures, or unusual videos that are shown to audience can also, you can say, change the attention of the listener from the message to that unusual sight. And there could also be many other stimulus, many other such things that can draw his attention towards a potential distraction. And that's it for today. In our next class, I'll be discussing communicating in an organization. So thank you very much for patiently listening to me. If you have any questions, you are free to ask. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.